I don't know about you guys, but I flew probably 32 hours to get here. I'm heavily jet lagged. My body thinks it's like 3 in the morning right now, so we're going to have a fun time. For those that don't know, like we just had, my name is Michael. I am Australian, so I'm sorry for the accent difference if you can't pick it. But I'm from Republic Labs, and so what we effectively do, we are a blockchain media and research hub based out of Indonesia, and we provide content. We have been covering the Polkadot ecosystem for nearly 5 years. And so before all of the parachains launched, before all of everything really got started, we were writing and making videos about the Polkadot ecosystem. And during COVID, we were approached to be able to start creating applications for the Indonesian government. They had been watching us during COVID lockdown, watching videos, and thought, we want to start building stuff on-chain. And so we were lucky enough to be asked to come and build some things for the government. Now, because we're a blockchain agnostic ecosystem, we cover everything. Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, Polkadot, you name it, not so much Cardano. No hate, but not so much. And when the time came to like try and build something, we could choose which ecosystem we wanted to go to, and obviously we chose to come to Polkadot. So the reason we did that is because Polkadot is, like what Gav said this morning, what Ethereum 2 should have been. You can see that the convergence of things like like what Polygon is trying to do or what the OP stack is trying to do, they're all trying to converge to be exactly what Polkadot was from the start. And that is this multi-chain connected network. And so the word Mandala actually means cosmos. And we know the cosmos ecosystem, it's this network of chains. We're taking a different spin on that. But the question is, does the best tech always win? And I think a lot of people here would agree that Polkadot has some pretty amazing tech. But is it winning? I would say that we're going to get a little bit spicy here. And if you agree with me, that's great. But if you don't agree with me, it's okay. It's also bullish for Polkadot. I would say we are not winning inside the Polkadot ecosystem. I would say that we have some fantastic technology, but we are not the first choice for a majority of people when they're looking to build. And that's problematic, because I think we've been a little bit apathetic to sit back and think people will come because we're the best. I think this is arrogant, and I don't think it's going to play out well. And so let's look at some data. So the state of crypto right now, we can see that adoption rates have been huge, especially in emerging markets and places like LATAM and Southeast Asia where we're based. And I'm going to go as far to say that most users that are likely to adopt blockchain already have. I think the low-hanging fruit has already been collected, and I think that people that are just going to be natively interested in the tech already have found it. And we see this with a lot of our research. We're deep in a lot of ecosystems. We write content for a lot of ecosystems. I work with many foundations, not just the Web3 Foundation, but most foundations across the spectrum. I know what their marketing arms look like. I know what it's like to create content for them. I know what their builders are expecting. And I could see that a lot of people who have chosen to join us on this crypto Web3 journey already have. And so adoption rate has gone well. You know, we're now, 11 years into the Ethereum model and maybe 6 years into the Polkadot model, 16 into Bitcoin. But where is all of the revenues being derived? And you can see here, this is the top 10 or so protocols that are deriving revenue. And where's it all coming from? It's coming from application layer. And a lot of those, as you'll see, are Solana and Ethereum based. There is not a Polkadot project on this list. And this, again, is problematic because the best tech doesn't always win. So what we feel is that we need to bring the tech to the people. And this is what Gavin's talking about. This next wave of adoption is going to be applications that are built and are taken to people. We can't just sort of build stuff and build more dashboards and build more developer tools and think that because the experience is fantastic that people are going to come, because I can tell you they're not. They're going to go to where, like water, the path of least resistance. And at the moment, the path of least resistance does not lead you to the Polkadot ecosystem. And so we, as a builder inside the ecosystem, aim to change this. So originally, Mandala, the concept, started with 2 companies, both my company, Republic, and Baliola, which is a dev shop based out of Bali, Indonesia. And we started building applications for the government. We won a parachain slot about 18 months ago, and we imminently will launch mainnet, which I'll talk about in a moment. But this project has now grown to be more than just the one company. We have several companies now building this project. Maneki Neko is another BD arm that's been based out of Singapore and works closely with Hong Kong. We have the Few team, which is based out of Canada, which some people may know are really great developers, working in the Polkadot ecosystem, also contributing. We have now a foundation, the Mandala Chain Foundation, and also the Mandala Chain Academy that's working with like 30 universities across Indonesia. All working on this one idea that we can bring the tech to the people. So, most people will know the story. Just a raise of hands, has anyone actually heard of Mandala and what we're doing so far? Okay, a lot of people already have. So we have some primary use cases which we will launch imminently, and some of them involve a decentralized identity, digital verification so people can prove where products come from. We have an actual sort of network of side chains where people can actually create side chains and they can be used for different purposes. And we've got several provinces in Indonesia already running side chains that are actively working right now, creating blocks that are forks of Mandala, that they control all of the nodes inside their geographical region, and their government will use it for all sorts of different things like on-chain storage. And we also have connected a whole network of banks together across Indonesia that have some underutilized bank infrastructure. We're really excited as well because we've been able to work with not just Indonesian-based projects, but we're now exporting this to the world. So, we'll go back a little bit. So today, I guess what we're wanting to do is kind of look about what the next wave of projects are and then talk about the road ahead for Mandala. So specifically, next for us, we want to be able to announce some new partnerships we have, and the first one is with BitLayer. So BitLayer is one of the premier Bitcoin L2s. They have already sort of created this layer where people can permissionlessly mint and redeem Bitcoin to YBTC, which is a permissionless Bitcoin that can work in a smart contract environment. They will be integrating this technology on Mandala, so people will be able to mint and unmint YBTC and be able to do this directly to the Bitcoin network. We're very excited about this partnership, and this will be the first time they've worked with the Polkadot ecosystem. And so we're bringing Bitcoin, permissionless Bitcoin, not wrapped Bitcoin, not some sort of permissioned Bitcoin, but permissionless Bitcoin that you can unlock and lock from the Bitcoin network to the Polkadot ecosystem that will deploy on the Mandala mainnet on launch. This is a huge deal. This is a big win for us in the ecosystem. Secondly is Ink Finance. Now, Ink Finance is already deployed on Binance Smart Chain, on Ethereum, on Avalanche, and they've chosen to come to deploy on Mandala also. And what Ink Finance does is it allows you to be able to create DAOs. It's a DAO platform. Now, these DAOs could be used for anything. They could be to tokenize a real-world asset, and that the tokens can be managed on Ink Finance. It could be to create a fund. It could be to create a DAO amongst your friends for your gaming guild. It could be for anything. And so this will deploy on Mandala chain, on launch, on the Mandala mainnet. And so you'll be able to go and you'll be able to create a wide variety of different DAOs, funds, real-world asset launch pads, whatever you might be. And we at Republic Labs are going to pioneer the first fund which we launch on the Mandala mainnet using Ink Finance. And that's going to be a Web3 ecosystem fund where all of the parachain tokens can come and be deposited into one fund and can be represented by one token. And we will create this, a whole network of our whole ecosystem, and you can get exposure to all the parachains and the DOT token and KSM, maybe even Bitcoin as well, and hold it in one token and it be tradable probably across Hydration and wherever else. This is something that we will do using Ink Finance upon launch of the Mandala mainnet. Another win for Mandala. Thirdly, Aurus has come to partner with Mandala as well, and Aurus is actually Onyx Minerals. They're an actual mining company, and this is their venture into Web3. And so what they're doing is they've created the Aurus network where they're going to tokenize an ESG version of tokenized gold. They're doing it in a way where they have proof of reserves that have been verified externally, and instead of spending the money to dig it out of the ground and cause that disruption, they're using the ground as the vault, and they're going to tokenize those in-ground assets. And so we have tokenized gold that we can tokenize without actually disrupting the environment and digging it all out. But we verified by external parties and tokenized on Mandala and to be flooded right across the Polkadot ecosystem as well. So tokenized gold coming to the ecosystem. So traditionally, like our vision was that we would be a parachain, which we are, Mandala chain, and that we would have these Mandala application chains. So people could build directly on our parachain or they could create one of these application chains which would run in parallel, kind of like a layer 2 on top of us or a layer 3 on top of Polkadot effectively. And we already have a couple of these running. There's already the province of West Java in Indonesia, which has a population, I think, bigger than Russia, already has their own chain. And we also have ID Chain, which is run by a department of the Indonesian government, which they're going to be minting IDs on. Now, this is our old architecture. This is what we've initially launched with. But we can see the tide is turning inside the Polkadot ecosystem, and Polkadot is maturing. And this kind of parachain model is not necessarily the direction that we're going. And we want to follow the vision. We want to follow the vision of where Polkadot is going. And so we're making another sort of announcement today that we're broadening the scope of Mandala, and we're going to expand it beyond just this network. We're going to expand it not in the way that you think, where we're leaving to another ecosystem, but we're going to create services and applications on Polkadot Hub as well. And we're going to bring more parachains. We're going to be a parachain factory, effectively, building additional Mandala application chains to Polkadot Hub that will be in partnership with Mandala so that our ecosystem will look something like this. Sometimes the application might deploy on our parachain. Sometimes it might be a side chain secured by us. Sometimes it might be another parachain which we work in conjunction with, and we effectively make more parachains onto the Polkadot network, all based on Polkadot Hub. Now, the first question is, what does this do for the native token of Mandala? So we effectively view ourselves like taking that raw asset, which is Polkadot block space, or Polkadot core time, and we're going to take that raw asset and we're going to refine it, and kind of like in that foundry, the mad scientist. And what we will actually do is we mix it with all sorts of business logic, all sorts of revenue streams, token buybacks, partnerships, lockups, and that will be represented by our native token, KPG, which stands for Kepeng, which is the ancient currency of the Southeast Asian Empire. And so what will happen is that this particular token will be Polkadot block space mixed with business revenue streams and token buybacks and token burns packaged as our native token, whether that's through our actual chain itself or through other chains which we deploy inside the Polkadot ecosystem. So we're very excited to get rolling. This has been a long journey, as working with government often is. We're very thankful to the community, because if it wasn't for the Polkadot community, we would have lost many of these use cases to other ecosystems. And we're very, very excited that we are finishing our final public round right now. It's live at token.mandalachain.io. It finishes on Sunday, and then we will be TGing next month. We'll see you on Hydration. We're very excited, and we're very excited to bring the next wave of adoption to Polkadot.